on tap. It's the Division II Regional Finals, hitting the Eagles against, well, the Eagles. We'll sort it out on our March to Columbus, next on Chatterbox Live. And good afternoon from Butler's Vandalia at Student Athletic Center. I'm Geoff Kim. Sean Van Winkle to join me in just a moment. In the Region 8 semifinals 2 nights ago, it was the Central 2 winner, Bishop Watterson, surviving the Southwest 1 champ, McNicholas, in double overtime, 48-41. And then in the nightcap, it was the Southwest 3 champion, Chaminade-Julienne, coming back from 20 down in the first half to edge the Southwest 2 champions, Tippecanoe, 58-55. So as we bring in Sean, you have two teams that are emotionally and probably physically tasked by the high effort wins on Thursday. And as we look to your keys to the game, fatigue will be just another obstacle for both CJ and Bishop Watterson that they'll have to figure out.
Absolutely. We have two teams here that are somewhat familiar with each other. As they scrimmaged in the past, Jeff, many times in the preseason. Coach Staley, the former coach of Chaminade-Julienne, is very good friends with Coach Lombardo. And when talking to both coaches, honestly, they both feel like they're playing with house money in some ways. So tonight we'll go right into the keys to the game, and we'll start with Chaminade-Julienne. Eagles, as you said, this is going to be easy tonight. Both of them are the Eagles. So Chaminade-Julienne, and talking to Coach Szabo yesterday, he says the number one key for us to win tonight, Coach Van Winkle, or to this afternoon, is we really got to guard well. And he says what that means, he goes, the key to our win the other night was our second half defense. The ball pressure was incredible, and it got us right back in the game, and they outscored Tip 33-13. And then number two was attack the defense. He knows that they're going to have to play inside out against Columbus Watterson's zone defense. But here's the deal, Jeff. CJ has some very, very good shooters, so they'll be able to play inside out with Nassif and the other shooters for the team. And the last thing that Coach Szabo said is we have to contain the big fella, Cole Rett. He's a threat inside and outside. He does shoot threes. As we don't have a lot of stats on Watterson, but they play inside out with the big guy. Those are the 3 Ks for Chaminade-Julienne.
Before we get to the opposite keys to the ballgame, I want to talk about Cole Rett for just a second.
Yep.
And depending upon which roster you have, I heard Nathaniel in the semifinal game 2 nights ago, say 6'8". I have him at 6'6". No matter what you got, he's a big load down in the middle.
And I seen on Twitter where somebody from Columbus said he was 6'8". So let's just give him that, or 6'7". Any way they stack it up, I could stand on your shoulders and we'd probably be the same height as him, right?
Exactly.
So looking at the keys to the game for Columbus Watterson and talking to Coach Lombardo in his 28th season for Columbus Watterson. They've been to the state championship. They've won a state championship. But he says, Coach, I do feel like we're really playing on house money. But when talking to him tonight this afternoon about how to beat Chaminade-Julienne, he said the first thing we got to do is take away their dribble penetration. Although Watterson plays zone, they want to still keep people out of the gaps and look for CJ to try to attack those gaps. So they want to take away dribble penetration. The second thing that Coach Lombardo said, he says, we want to mix up our defenses. We played a lot of 2-3 zone the other night, but we do play man-to-man as well. We're able to play both, and we know we're going to have to keep CJ on their toes by switching up our defenses. And he said the last thing we got to do, and this is a pretty good key, I think, is he goes, we got to rebound the ball well. He goes, when Cole Rett's out of the game and we're basically playing 5 guards, we have got to rebound. Easier said than done when you got Nassif on the other side, but they got to keep him off the glass. Those 3 keys are what Coach Lombardo said. If we can get those things, we'll be playing in Dayton next week.
Want to hit back on point number 2, partner.
Yes.
You had mentioned about the defense, whether it's a zone or man-to-man. And going back to the game against McNick a couple nights ago, one of the things that you saw right in person, right in front of us, in fact, was that 2-3 defense and how it stifled McNick to the point where they couldn't run that offense around the arc that they typically want to run.
Yeah, and McNick did a lot of dragging and throwing back, trying to draw 2, throw back against the zone. And what Coach Szabo is going to do is try to attack it on the inside and look to throw out. So it's 2 different approaches. Coach Szabo said he feels comfortable against zone. They've played against Alter. They've played against a few teams this year that play some zone. So Coach Szabo's used to it. So I don't think they're not going to be aware of what's going on to attack that zone. But, again, Jeff, we know the key for Coach Szabo. He wants to go inside out. So let's look for tonight or this afternoon. Sorry, everybody out there. We're going to probably say that. Me and you are going to say that all night. But look for this afternoon for them to do that. Now, the other thing is, on the flip side, real quick, Jeff, if we got it just in 30 seconds, is, CJ turned it up defensively. They pressured, and made it tough. Well, McNick did that to Watterson. That's when they went 5 out on their offense, when Watterson was getting that pressure from McNick, and they were just trying to drive. So look for McNick, or look for Watterson today. If CJ plays that tight D, look for Watterson to go 5 out and try to drive going downhill and put pressure on the defense.
And this one should be a good one. Chaminade-Julienne comes in at 14-5, 8-5 in the GCL co-ed this year. Their head coach is Charlie Szabo in his second year at the helm, 26-18. They are the Southwest District 3 champions. Meanwhile, on the other side, Bishop Watterson, the Eagles, at 12-15, 1-7 in the CCL, the Central Catholic League. Their head coach is Vince Lombardo in his 28th year at the helm. He's got over 450 wins in the career, and he's also got the 2013 state championship.
Unreal. 14-5 is CJ. Jeff, think about that. They played 14 league games, 1 non-league game. He went opposite of what everybody else did. Everybody else tried to play 4 games in a week. He did not do that. He wanted to practice more and only play 1 or 2 games a week. That's why they've only had a total now in the regional final of 19 games under their belt this year.
Amazing. Well, it doesn't matter how, it just matters that you do. And in this case, you have 2 teams that I don't think either, if you were looking at the Southwest bracket coming in 3.5 weeks ago, I don't think anybody envisioned either CJ or Bishop Watterson, yet here we are.
Here they are, and they're 2 well-coached teams, 2 great programs. They both play very, very good schedules. It's no surprise to them in some ways, but it is a surprise to us. But the bottom line is, Jeff, one of these 2 are moving on to Dayton to have a chance to play in the state championship.
The last time these 2 teams met, and going back to the 2013-14 season, this is the first meeting between the 2 schools. So even though there's plenty of tape, and obviously Chatterbox Sports has something to do with that, right?
Archived every game.
Archive every game. You can watch every tournament game right here. There's nothing like game action and understanding what a program does to one another.
Absolutely, and this is, as we're getting ready for the national anthem, this is going to be a whale of a game this afternoon. Not night, this afternoon.
Can't wait for it. I think we're due for a timeout here. We'll take one right here. We'll pause for the nation's anthem. When we come back, we'll have the starting lineups in the opening tip-off. This is our March to Columbus on Chatterbox Live. Just mere moments away from the start of this one here in Vandalia, and we're ready for the starting lineups. As you see, Bishop Watterson's Eagles assembled out on the floor and getting ready to be introduced. Again, their head coach is Vince Lombardo in his 28th year, in excess of 450 wins. He has a 2013 title under his belt. You see Noah Graham, Sam Nemitar, Jacob Hoying, Owen Samanek, and Cole Rett. And, of course, you mentioned, partner, the big man in the middle, Cole Rett, the Big Spoon.
Big Spoon. Going to be a great matchup tonight between him and Nassif on the other side for CJ. No change from the starting lineup for Watterson as we're getting ready to look at now the Chaminade-Julienne Eagles.
Well, as we take a look and wait for them, we'll keep on talking here and talking about and seeing these guys getting introduced as we speak.
Yeah.
And let's keep with Rhett for just a second. Averaging about 9.5 points a ball game, but he wasn't the key to the ball game. They really contained him after the initial minutes in the first quarter, and he was in foul trouble for much of it. We'll see if we get a different Rhett here this afternoon.
A different Rhett, but who stepped up the other night, Jeff? Hoying. Big game for Columbus Watterson. And he had 16 points and had a heck of a game controlling that aggressive defense, keeping people off of him. Hoying had a big game. Look for him to be a key factor for them in order for them to move on.
Well, let's stay with Hoying for just a second. In fact, he had the tying layup at the end of regulation, right at the buzzer on that little post feed from the big man Rhett. And it's like, let's go ahead and dissect that play for a second.
So talking to Coach Monahan, he said, Coach, I told my guys to stay on their hips, don't leave, stay with your guys. They left and kind of doubled Rhett, which they had not done all night, and Rhett made a hell of a play to get the assist. I love passes anyway, but a great cut by Hoying is just one of those things.
And he had a couple assists in that one. As we point on over to Chaminade-Julienne, and we'll see them get introduced right now. A.J. Solomon, Luke Chandler, Evan Dickey, Dan Nassif, and Jonathan Powell are the starting five. And while so much of the seasonal attention has gone to Powell, the freshman, who's their leading scorer, it was Nassif 2 nights ago who was special.
Yeah, everybody that's watching Chatterbox right now, Nassif, Rhett. But I'm telling you right now, the key to tonight's game is Luke Chandler. He's a great shooter for Chaminade-Julienne. They're going to play zone Watterson, and if Chandler can get off, and Jeff, he doesn't just shoot at the three-point line. He shoots from deep as well. He's a great shooter. He's going to have to shoot well tonight in order for Chaminade-Julienne to be playing basketball next week in a state championship.
Are you saying that he shoots from Kelvin Turner territory?
He is I don't know about that. That may be a little too deep. But, hey, something like that. He shot some deep ones the other day, but he's the key, man. Luke Chandler.
So his range is basically 25 feet in.
It is, and he can do it. And against the zone, it's that inside out. Nassif throw it in, him passing out. But I think Chandler and Hoying, I know everybody talking about Nassif and Rhett. I'm talking about Chandler and Hoying tonight. It's going to be who plays well between those two.
I want to talk about Jonathan Powell as we head towards both teams getting out on the court. He had a end of the half three to cut the lead to 14 against Tippecanoe, and I think that actually started the rally in that one. So
Absolutely.
In this one, it's Dan Nassif to jump center against their big man for Bishop Watterson and Cole Rhett. Eagles versus Eagles, and away we go here in Vandalia. 3 off the wing to start things off the back iron. And we head to Bishop Watterson as they'll attack the north end.
Watterson looked like they were in a 1-2-2 zone. They shot so quick, but
Steal.
CJ in the zone, in the man defense.
To the rack. 2-0. Evan Dickey, his first field goal and the first score of the afternoon.
CJ's going to pick up where they left off the other night, Jeff. They're putting a lot of pressure on the ball as they're extending out and playing their man-to-man defense almost all the way up the court.
It's Noah Graham who has it, and now he plays it backwards. Samonik back outside. Initar back on over for Graham. Graham puts it on the deck. Across the lane and back to the big man. Cole Rhett, the big spoon. He bounces in. He sends it out. The skip pass. No three-point attempt. And now down low on the block, and we've got a foul. A foul as Initar was trying to make his move with 7:06 left to go here in this initial period.
Notice how Nassif guarded Rhett. As soon as Rhett caught the ball, Nassif, who is going to be a doctor one day, according to the coach, he jumped his right shoulder and did not let him turn at all to use that left hand inside the paint. What a great interior defender that Nassif was. But Rhett kicks it out. Nice pass as we got a guy stepping to the line now for Watterson.
By the way, the first foul of the ball game belongs to Evan Dickey, who scored the initial points. 1 of 2. So Initar is a 6'1" senior guard, and he cuts the lead in half at 2-1.
They're in their matchup 2-3 zone. Look for CJ to do a little inside out. Nassif is going to play behind the zone, guys. Watch him play behind the zone to really make it tough.
3 from the corner for Solomon. He knocks it down.
Solomon is used to big games. He has 2 rings, Jeff, as a second baseman on CJ's state championship baseball teams.
He had 7 points in the win against Tippecanoe a couple nights ago. Here's a drive off the window. No good. The rebound to Luke Chandler. Up ahead to Dickey. Dickey across the lane, back outside. Another 3. And this one too strong for the freshman sensation, Jonathan Powell. 5-1 here on the early outset of this one in Vandalia. Drive and a shutoff.
Yeah. To alleviate the pressure, the Watterson's going to try to drive just like they did the other night and just get paint touches.
Here's Rhett from the corner. 3 is short. Well, you wouldn't expect a 6'8" kid to shoot from out there.
But it allows the driving lanes when you get him out of that paint. And Coach talked they're going to take him inside out tonight.
They want to shoot 3 again. This time, again, it's too short for Luke Chandler.
Little surprise, CJ hasn't went inside out. They're just shooting 3s pretty quick. Look for Coach Zabo to kind of direct his team a little bit better than that.
3 from the corner. One and done this time. Chaminade misses, and CJ wants to run. It's Dickey back outside. They work to the corner. 3 from the corner. Knock it down! Luke Chandler, your guy. Your key to the game.
The guy I was talking about. He's a great three-point shooter, especially when he gets his feet set. And that was a nice secondary pass down to the corner there.
47% shooter from the three-point line, and Rhett answers with the first field goal for Bishop Watterson.
Yeah, Watterson is trying to drive in and get paint touches, and that's exactly what they're going to do to alleviate that pressure, Jeff. When they play so tight on you like CJ does, you got to sometimes just drive by them. You just got to drive by, and that's what Watterson's done early here in the first quarter of the regional final game.
We melt the clock down towards 5 minutes to go here in this first period. 8-3, CJ with a 5-point spread. They keep it outside the arc. It's Powell off the short corner, rejected. Wow! Mercy, a Rhett rejection. And let's send it to the third man here in our broadcast, Patrick Geshin.
Jeff, the first thing I heard from head coach Adam Szabo when I talked to him earlier this week, he said we have to have a better start than we did Thursday against McNick. 8-3 the score early on. Szabo talking about his handling of Watterson's physicality. That's a big key in this game. Also taking care of the ball defensively. But the number one thing was the start, and the start has been pretty good for the Eagles so far.
Thank you, Patrick, as Powell collects it in the backcourt.
Yeah,
Solomon, go ahead.
Yeah, they had such a bad start as he shoots the 3 there.
That one airmailed by Chandler, and the Bishop Watterson crowd letting him hear it.
Watterson's a 4-round one, and they'll bring Rhett out of the paint to allow some driving lanes just like that.
Traveling.
Yep. Powell jumped ahead there. Solomon jumped ahead there defensively.
We're going to see Charlie Lewis checking into this ball game, but not before the timeout. With 4:31 left to go here in this first period, 8-3 early impressions here in this one. Well, before we get that, back to Patrick.
No, we got a replay here.
Replay.
Look at this extra pass. It's the and one more, however you want to call it. I used to tell guys, if someone yells one more and you shoot it and not pass it, you got to run. And that's what he just yelled. Give me one more. Because he can look. There's nobody guarding him, and that's why he made that extra pass. That's a higher percentage 3. And, again, we talked about him before the game. I really like Luke Chandler as a player, and when he has his feet set on the line, he's as good a shooter as anybody in Southwest Ohio.
Except maybe Kelvin Turner.
Maybe.
And, it's funny. I know we're talking D2 here in this as we're going through and marching through the regional playoffs here with them. But Kelvin Turner, who we saw during the regular season and the playoffs, was so special down the stretch.
Just magical shooters, and you love talking about those guys, and we've seen some great ones. And we're not as familiar with Watterson, but we've seen him a couple times now, and it's been really neat to see a team out of Columbus as they set some screens on the zone out of the timeout.
3 and way out for Powell, and again the chance of air ball from the Watterson crowd. It's Hoying with the ball out to the sideline, and they play back to Rhett up on top. Now, partner, when they had got the initial lead, as they play inside, and the big man stuck down low. Noah Graham had nowhere to go.
As we got a little cheap foul inside. We got a nice crew here tonight. 3 guys out of Cincinnati, Doug Harmon, Angelo Zalotos, as Angelo just made that call, and Marvin Doyle over there on the side right next to Coach Szabo.
Kylan Tucker comes in for Jonathan
Look
Powell.
at him on that right shoulder. See the difference?
And he's got rejected. Rejected down there by Dan Nassif, and that's the matchup here this afternoon.
Absolutely. Nassif is a very intelligent guy. As I mentioned earlier, Coach said he wants to be a doctor one day. Jumping on that right shoulder, just really with the scouting report. As he's underneath the zone.
Nassif goes underneath the hoop. He can't get it a fall. Right the rebound.
They're going to play him under that zone, trying to stretch the zone out as much as possible.
Drive. Shut off as Lewis can't make it work. And they stay outside there with Noah Graham. Out on the wing, drives in. He creates space, charge.
But you notice Rhett was high above the three-point line to give them Noah Graham that baseline to drive. But anytime you extend your arm, they're going to call it, Jeff. Automatic. Doug Harmon with the call. Great referee out of Cincinnati. But look at Nassif below this defense down here when we get down there when CJ's on offense. He's working that baseline, Jeff, which is going to make it really tough for them not to control those gaps as they're going to try to shoot those gaps with Nassif behind.
And they extend that 2-3 zone up towards the mid-post line.
Now they're sneaking into the elbow there, trying to get some paint touches.
Tucker returns it, Chandler up top. As Chandler motions down to the block, and now they keep it outside. Solomon looking, puts it on the deck, looking to skip, does skip. Terry Slaybaugh back outside, 3 straight on is no good for Solomon. And the Big Spoon collects.
Yeah, they're shooting a lot of threes. Somewhat opens, and some of them aren't, but they're not going as inside out as Coach Szabo would like.
Here's Hoying off the wing, driving in, and we got a hold as he was making his move coming off the right flank.
Yeah, Hoying, we talked about him earlier. Man, what a great game he had in the regional semifinal. Again, he's the quarterback for the football team. Dad, Ohio State, Eagles, big time genes there with Mr. Hoying.
Well, we'll talk more about those genes because the grandfather might be the most impressive.
Oh, there you go.
Impressive athlete coming out of that St. Henry area.
Looking forward to hearing about that. As now they got Red inside, 4-on-1. Watch him jump the shoulder. There you go. Nice
outside.
pass.
Here's a wide open 3.
That's exactly what CJ wants. Inside out. Coach Lombardo, same thing. Inside out. That's the best time to get a wide open 3 is when you throw it. And Rhett's a great passer, as he made that great pass the other day to send them to this game.
Sam Intihar logs on his first points from the floor, and the answer back, no good, 1 and done this time down. And Bishop Watterson trying to make their move here with under 2 here in this first period.
CJ shooting a lot of threes, which are open.
Well, they're afraid of the big. I don't want to say they're afraid. Afraid is too big of a word, but they're clearly thinking about the Big Spoon down low.
Yeah, they are. And, I mean, he's a difference. He protects the rim, and sometimes that goes not in the statistical category, but he's such an influence on defense, especially that matchup zone, as they've really extended it, as you called earlier, Jeff, extended that zone to make it tough. And when they extend it, Jeff, the shooters from CJ are taking 2 steps behind the 3. They're just making the shots longer. As we got another sub coming in here.
We got wholesale, in fact, for Chaminade-Julienne. I caught the last one. Josiah Bowman wearing the number 4, who got he was the first man off the bench, if I recall, back in our game on Thursday. 6'4", junior is in there.
Oh, they did not switch. Oh,
and the miss down low. Jacob Hoying misfires. They work down low.
That's where they want to go, right there. Get that thing on the baseline.
Tucker dumps it down low. Bowman low on the right. Goes underneath. Did he travel? Yes, he did.
There's that influence. Again, Rhett's not going to get a statistical thing in the category, but what a great stop.
Let's give it to Patrick.
Guys, a lot of people are calling this a Cinderella run this season for Bishop Watterson. I asked head coach Vince Lombardo how he justifies his team being in this game after a losing record in the regular season. Told me his team should be in this round of the postseason. He said his team has had steady improvement throughout the regular season, learned from their close losses early on, just reworked themselves throughout their regular season stretch. So no, according to Lombardo, not a Cinderella run because of the regular season. This is something his young team kind of expected to be in this game today.
Lewis misfired on the other end. They answer back this side, and nothing doing this time for Evan Dickey. Still 8-6 as we come up on 1 minute left to play here in this first period.
Great insight there for Patrick. I mean, when you're Watterson and you have the program they have, that's exactly what Coach Lombardo is talking about. Don't be surprised. We're that type of program, Columbus Watterson, as there's 50 seconds to go here. I doubt if they take the last shot here, Jeff, but they may.
Intar. Stuck on the elbow, throw it away into the hands of Dickey for CJ. Here come the Eagles down the lane, and that one, another rejection for the Big Spoon.
Yeah, what a great block. But you know, you had Owen Sepanek. Watch Owen stop the ball. Owen stops the ball and then allows him to do that. That's what you do in transition defense. You don't always have to steal it, but get the ball stopped and allows Rhett to get that clean block.
Score remains the same. So we melt the clock down to 30 seconds left to go here in this first. Jumper for Powell, and it's misdirected. And we'll see now if Bishop Watterson can tie it up or go ahead with a 3.
This is the lineup they had when they made a run the other night, Jeff, where it's 5 out. Look how spread they are. They look to try to get paint touches and just really attacking the rim here. CJ is going to play real aggressive man-to-man defense.
Puts it on the deck, kicks it out. 3 off the wing, off the mark. With 2 seconds to play, we'll see if we can get a shot up at the buzzer, off the mark, and that's the way this first period ends. 8-6 in favor of the Chaminade-Julienne Eagles. This is our March to Columbus on Chatterbox Live. Along with Sean Van Winkle, the kid, I'm Geoff Kim. Thanks for joining us here on Chatterbox Live. Partner, a good one to be sure to start things off. And, one of the keys to your ball game, in fact, it's shown up here pretty big here in the first 8 minutes, Luke Chandler.
Absolutely. And, again, he can shoot. It would be better if his feet are up on that three-point line instead of 4 feet back. But that's the thing going inside out. To Patrick's point a minute ago, I asked Coach Szabo, I said, what do you think of Watterson? He said, physically well-coached team. They have familiarity with the Watterson program, but they're playing very confident right now to the point that Patrick made earlier.
A near steal, and the young man who had really influenced the game the last time around is finally into this contest for CJ, Keon Owens. At 6 foot tall, a junior wearing the number 23.
Yeah, he guarded Nossman in the second half for Tip, and he's just a great defender. Very good on-the-ball defender. He's going to guard their point guard now.
And he nearly locked down Charlie Lewis on that entry.
Yeah.
Jumper, a deep two, outside the free throw line, no good. And the tap out, and it belongs to the aforementioned young Mr. Owens.
Yeah, great rebound, defensive rebound, gave it up right away.
Powell disdains three and gives back Solomon, puts it on the deck, fills the lane, down low, Nassif draws the crowd, throws it up, no good.
Yeah, Nassif and Rhett back in the game to start the second quarter. They both got a little extended break to end the first. As they're using Rhett outside that three-point line, Jeff, I really like that. It keeps that spacing for Watterson to drive, just like this.
They play with Graham. Back outside. Three off the wing, off the back iron, tapped out. Salmonuk misfires, and with 7:02 left to play, we'll stay up front.
Owen going up with trying to get a one-hand rebound for CJ. You got to try to snatch out with two hands if you're Owen for Chaminade Eagles.
They throw in, baseline out of bounds.
Yeah. Earlier, Jeff, they ran that screen-to-screener, and they didn't switch and got that layup on the backside, but Hoying blew the layup, remember? He blew the layup. That time, Chaminade switching everything, gets a 5-second call, and that is so hard to do defensively on underneath out of bounds.
Hoying's back in the ball game.
Yeah, Nassif's below that zone, as you can see there on the screen. They got to get the ball down to him, Jeff, in order to go inside out.
And he's got the left, now playing back to the right. And it's loose, and Dickey mishandles, and it's turned over. Initar, and gives it up to Lewis. Dashing up front, checked by Solomon, and drew the foul. Foul with 6:36 left to play here in this first half.
Yeah, Solomon with the reach-in foul. I talked about him earlier about big games, Jeff. Second baseman on the state championship teams for Chaminade. They have 2 state titles with him playing second base.
Lewis collects on the side out of bounds to the top of your screen. Nearly a kickball. He recollects it. Good job of getting it back, and now lost the handle. Played out to Solomon. Off the flank, a 2-on-2 to the rack. No good. He drew the foul with 6:23 left to go, and he'll go to the line.
Yeah, Sam Initar not wanting the foul call there as he reaches in. But look at the steal. Watch, he goes right at him, and Initar does not reach, and that's why he's frustrated. You see him wavering his arms there. He went straight up, but he might have got him with the body. A lot of times if you reach down as he steps up. Solomon steps up, who shoots 62% from the foul line. When you reach down, it's an automatic, okay, for the referees. He kept his arms out, but the referee felt like he got him a little bit with the body.
Let's fly on the second and good. 2 of 2 at the line here. Averaging 9.5 points a ball game. And in fact, CJ as a team shooting just about 58.5% at the stripe this year. Yeah. So, when it comes down to crunch time, and that this game may, if they play it close, will come down to free throws, that'll be a critical number to know. Here's
Absolutely.
Lewis coming up front. Checked by Owens. He got away from him and nearly threw it away. Saved up front. Initar, high-low. Threw it away, intended for Hoying.
And Owen got his hand on it, didn't get the steal, but doing what he did the other night, playing great defense.
Oh, Solomon is wide open off the – oh, you're supposed to call those.
Yeah. And that's that inside out. They drove the baseline, got to the inside, and then kicked it out. What a great pass.
7-point lead. Dribble drive. Nothing doing this time down for Graham, and here comes CJ up by 7. Out to the wing. Powell, the corner 3! Timeout.
It's going to be a 30-second timeout. What great transition there. And he just gets there. As we go inside out, what I talked about, as he steps up, Solomon drills that 3. That's just as good. Sometimes passing in and throwing out is good, but it's also just as good, Jeff, if you drive in and draw and kick out.
8-0 run by the CJ Eagles on back-to-back threes to go up 16-6. Winner of this one, well, they go to state.
They do, man, and what a great feeling this afternoon to do this game, Jeff. I feel like me and you are very blessed in that opportunity, and it's been a great season so far, and this has been a great year for us at Chatterbox. But what a feeling. You're one game away from going to the state championship, both these teams. As CJ's going to turn up the heat and really put on that 84, 94 feet of pressure as
and Solomon pressures the ball handler, Lewis, and they break. So it looked like the full court, and then they broke contain and then went to a man.
Yeah, they did. Just kind of just that token pressure, and Lewis playing a lot here for Columbus Watterson, and talking to Coach. He was a JV player at the beginning of the year.
Yes.
He was a JV guy. Now he's getting great minutes in the regional.
3 left in the key to answer back for Owen Salmonick.
Owen with a good shot, feet set. Again, going back to Lewis for Watterson. What a way. You start off, but you keep working hard. Start off in JV, work hard, and now you're in the regional final game getting some serious minutes.
Breaks to 8-0 run by the CJ Eagles. And again, that 2-3, as you see on your screen, as they whip it to Solomon up at the top.
Yeah, I think they got to get that ball down. There's inside out.
Solomon off the catch. The release, the 3.
That's inside out. Coach Zabo's looking for, either on the baseline or the elbow. What a great pass.
The home run ball has been a big factor so far in these minutes.
And Chandler's usually the guy out there shooting them from deep range. He got the great assist that time.
Solomon has 11. It's Lewis up top, looking inside. Now fills it against Solomon. Now has to kick it out. Off the back screen, and we got some contact at the bottom of your screen with 4:12 left to go here in this first half.
Looked like they fouled Tucker there.
Guys, when I spoke to CJ head coach Charlie Zabo about his one on Thursday and asked, so what was it that got you guys back in that one? He said, we have tough-minded, hard-nosed kids on our team. Like everyone else, we've seen our share of adversity throughout the season. Zabo also telling me you can either make excuses or you can let them consume you and fight through it. He said he tries to instill in his team excuses don't help anything, guys.
Salmonick misfires. Thank you, Patrick. And Lewis has it back up on top, off, looking for that high screen, and they've placed the big man Rhett down at the free throw line like they did in so much of the game 2 nights ago.
Yep.
He lost the handle. He's loose on the floor, and he traveled.
Talking about what Patrick said earlier just a few minutes ago when he interviewed Coach Zabo after the game and said, Coach, what got you back in? He gave Patrick a funny look. He looked at him and said, we started guarding somebody. it was so funny, but yeah, what a great coach, and Coach Zabo is in his second year, but he's a graduate of Chaminade.
Lewis comes out as Initar comes back in. Want to mention, we got a chance to talk to Zabo's dad, Chuck, and Charlie, his namesake, is one of 6 kids. He's the youngest of 6 kids, yet he's the one who's the junior.
Yep.
Go figure.
Which makes it, you think it's girls.
Yeah, it does make you think that.
But who knows? He was stepping out of bounds there, and now we're going the other way. As he gets on the ground, Chandler trying to dive in, but his foot was on the baseline, and Doug Harmon, good referee from Cincinnati, makes the call. As they're picking up the pressure, like you said, once they throw it in, they kind of just match up and play man. But it still wears you down a little bit. I mean, that's all they're trying to do with that pressure.
Initar stuck at the free throw line. Out to Salmonick. Back over to Initar, low on the left, and he lost it.
How quick is Solomon? Okay, so he cut him off at the beginning and didn't foul, had his arms up. Then he drove baseline. He beat him to the baseline. Defensive slide, arms up, goes out of bounds. Unbelievable defense by Solomon there.
Well, and we've seen some great defense by CJ here in the last couple of games. Solomon just now, and of course Owens through so much of the second half of their last game against Tippecanoe.
Oh, yeah, and that's how they're going to win. I mean, you can get back in games on offense, but really it's Diaz.
Oh, Nassif. Great move to the baseline, 2 of his own.
And he went down there to his right shoulder, and he's right-handed. Think about that. That's hard to do. Right shoulder, right-handed, and still made a move down there as Nassif is really shooting. Oh, he said he's like 54% from the field right now, but Coach Szabo said of late he's probably 70% because he started off at 30 early in the year.
Incredibly efficient. 3 from the wing to answer back. Noah Graham.
Great shot by Graham. Got his feet set. Lefties follow through up as it's 21-12 here. At what point do you think, Geoff, Lombardo may go back to his man-to-man? Because they play man-to-man too. I mean, Watterson plays man-to-man.
Very true, and they work in an Nassif around the big man, and 2 more!
He's so, I mean, Red is big, but Nassif is athletic as all get out as he's in his 4th year playing at varsity for CJ.
That turn to the baseline was magic.
Yeah, now that was to his left. So he went right on the other side, left on the other.
It's Rhett. He triggers 3 off the mark.
Watch him run. Now watch Nassif run the floor here.
Powell, stop and go. Stuck on the wing, returns it out. Here's Solomon, another 3, this time off the back iron.
A little quick, probably a little quicker than Coach Szabo wanted it to be there. That would have been a nice time to kind of milk the clock a little bit, but.
Well, Solomon's got 3 trays, and meanwhile, speaking of trays, off the mark. Oh, again, you got to call those.
Yeah, that's 2 in a row there for him.
Noah Graham with 3 more in the book to cut the lead back to single digits.
23-15, keeping it just enough. Talking about Nassif earlier, do you think he always goes baseline on his moves? He did on both moves there, so that could be something to look at if you're one of the assistant coaches there for Coach Lombardo, as he's got a great staff with Coach Teeters and Coach Ryan over there as his assistant coaches.
Chandler on the catch. They keep it outside. They work in Nassif. Around the big man. Spins low on the left end. Did he walk? No, it's a foul. Foul towards the baseline, and it's a hold down low against Bishop Watterson.
Yeah. Mr. Marvin Doyle called the reach in, I think, from the guards on the outside there as Rhett had his arms straight up. Yeah, they got Initar on that foul. He was reaching in. Scraping in is what you call that as a coach. You tell your guards, scrape in, and he scraped in and grabbed, which is going to be a foul.
Neither team in foul trouble, believe it or not. Just 4 apiece through this first half.
Yeah, very clean game, very well officiated game. I mean, I know I'm saying that too much probably, but as a coach, if you had these 3 guys out here doing your game, you'll take them all day, every day, and twice on Sunday.
Dickey to trigger, baseline out of bounds, outside. He gets it back from Owens. Keeps it on the deck, and we got a foul.
Yeah, Rhett was playing with his hands that time. Yeah, they got Rhett inside there, Geoff. He was playing with his hands on him instead of hands straight up, and they got him with a little cheap one. And I seen him talk to him earlier. Stop using your hands. Don't think that's the first time. He's told him throughout the game, don't use your hands.
3 from the corner off the mark. So no good for Chandler, and we'll see if Bishop Watterson plays for a final shot. I don't know if it's a little early for them, but they're down by 8.
Great weak side rebound for Hoying, though. It's really hard to defensive rebound in a zone.
Salmonuk from the free throw line, 15 feet away.
Nice little pull-up jumper. Now, this will be the last shot for Chaminade. They're not going to.
It's a 6-point contest at 23-17.
Yeah, Coach Szabo yelling open, which just basically means your 4 guards are just moving around the perimeter. And they'll probably try to run something with about 8 or 9 seconds, maybe a set play. Owen will not shoot it, though.
Right.
I'll put $100 on that right now. If you got it in your pocket, I'll put it. It's probably going to be Powell or Chandler.
5 seconds left. Powell outside. Here's the move. Dickey with the left hand. He can't get the shot down. Nassif at the buzzer.
A great rebound. Again, we said earlier, it's hard to rebound out of the zone on the weak side. And here's the weak side rebound here. Look at Nassif. Weak side grabs it, and it puts it right up. What a great play by Nassif.
And we'll send it downstairs to Patrick.
This one.
Better defensive start. You know, we relaxed there at the end of the half, but for a while we really guarded them. We kind of let up at the end of the half. We got to fix that, but, you know, we finally started hitting some shots in the second quarter. Our defense kept us around till then.
What's the key to getting through the second half?
I'm sorry?
What's the key to getting through the second half?
We got to keep guarding them. We can't let up. We got to keep pressure on, and we got to hit shots down there.
Thanks for your time. Appreciate it. Guys.
Patrick, thank you very much. And again, your halftime score is 25-17. We'll take a break right here, and when we come back, we'll break down half number 1. Look ahead to half number 2 when we return to our March to Columbus on Chatterbox Live. Just mere moments away from the restart of this one in the second half, 25-17. Along with Sean Van Winkle, I'm Geoff Kim. Thanks for joining us here on Chatterbox Live. Coach, wanted to hit some frivolity before we get back into gameplay. One of the things that was mentioned by David Lane on Twitter yesterday, he had mentioned Jeff and the kid in a response to you tweeting something out in regards to
my former players started wearing me out.
Yes.
Because they're thinking and it was Paul Reed, who's the owner of Bartell's Heating and Cooling.
Yes.
And Paul Reed goes, he was my coach. How in the heck is he the kid? What does it make me look like? But yeah. But if Paul only knew that I'm only 1 year younger than you. I thought that was great. And Paul Reed and his family, Bartell Heating and Cooling, have been a great sponsor for Chatterbox all year long. And those are the people we need to keep this thing going. And what a great company, locally owned in Hamilton.
And Paul, if you're watching, and I'm sure you are, we couldn't have done this without you. Thank you so much, partner.
No doubt. Now, Paul was a great defender. I coached him. He could take charges. His son, a great shooter. And he's challenging him to take more charges. But he was a great player for Ross, and he's going to be really good the next couple of years as they lost 6 seniors.
The winner of this one, and right now it's Chaminade-Julienne in the driver's seat and the ball to open up half number 2. We'll play the winner of St. Francis de Sales and Byersville Meadowbrook. And they have a 3 o'clock game to decide who will win their region. And the winners of those 2 games will meet next Saturday for an 11 o'clock tip over at UD Arena. As Chaminade-Julienne with A.J. Solomon will attack the north bucket, going right to left on your screen.
It looks like they're in man-to-man.
Yes.
It looks like Columbus Watterson is playing man-to-man. And now watch CJ go to some of their 1-4 high series. Little ball screen here.
Solomon penetrating, dumping it down low. Nassif turned it over.
They turned it over. And Solomon got into the paint, probably could have pulled up. But Lombardo looks like a genius now. He gets a turnover on the first possession by going back to man-to-man for Columbus Watterson.
And here's the first possession offensively for the Eagles of Bishop Watterson. In again with the record of 12-15, and they have peaked at the right time.
They're playing great basketball here right at the very end.
Beg your pardon, from the elbow along 2, and a good job there for Jacob Hoying. So Hoying gets his first field goal, and he is a son of Bobby Hoying, the Ohio State quarterback from the early to mid-'90s. His granddad is Wally Post, who spent 15 years in the big leagues as an outfielder, primarily with the Reds, as they work in Nassif for 2 of his own.
Yeah. That time they used Solomon as a screener. A lot of times use a little to big screen, and he used a little, who's the point guard, to screen Rhett, and Nassif just rolled right down for about as good a clean look as he's had in probably 5 games.
Down low to the big spoon, low on the left, he was fouled on the way up.
Yeah. Got him with the body a little bit, Nassif did. What a great bounce pass to Rhett, as I love these bounce passes, as you got him driving in the lane, draws, bounces it, and scores. He went off 2 feet, jump stop, bounce pass. What a great pass as Rhett steps up to the line for Columbus Watterson. Big fella who has a great touch. I mean, he shoots threes as well and mid-range, and he's not just a back-to-the-basket guy. And some say 6'6", some say 6'8", like we talked about earlier.
Sure.
He is big.
Big load, and look at him. I mean, it's like he's broad-shouldered, big thighs. He almost has a little bit more room to grow, if you can believe it, as he gets both.
Great-looking free throw shooter here is now Coach Zabo's digging into his bag of tricks here, running some of these set plays.
And we'll see if Bishop Watterson stays in a man.
Yep, they're in man with their little high flare there for Frederick.
The drive to the window and 1!
For Chandler, I'm sorry, I misspoke there. I was thinking of Frederick from tip the other night, but watch his high flare. It's a nice little flare screen, and he drives the basket. You noticed all 3 guys on the weak side were up above the three-point line. That allows that baseline drive with no help inside. What a great play by Coach Zabo.
Can't complete the old-fashioned 3. The big spoon, Cole Rhett, gets the rebound. Sets the high screen coming up front for Initar. Chaminade outside for Rhett, down low. It's Hoying low on the left, goes up strong, misfires. Nassif the rebound, and he had a little piss and vinegar in getting that rebound. Here's Solomon into the lane, the runner, no good. Nassif the put back!
Did you see that? He got the defensive rebound. They rushed it up the court. He sprints the full court and gets the offensive board. And a charge.
Chaminade, no call initially, and it's a blocking call. A little late on the call.
Well, I don't know if he was waiting to see. I don't know if he was waiting to see if the ball went in. Was it a great charge? I don't know. I think his feet were set. I felt like they were, but they didn't call it. So
that's number 2 on Nassif.
Yeah.
So we await the reemergence of Charlie Lewis, and we've got a timeout.
I think we're getting a timeout by Coach Zabo. Yeah, he wants a full.
5:54 left to play here in this third period, and it's a 10-point margin between CJ and Bishop Watterson at 31-21. Along with Sean Van Winkle, I'm Geoff Kim. Glad to have you along. Wanted to finish that point on Jacob Hoying.
Yep.
So he does have a dad who played quarterback at The Ohio State University. So he plays in a town that his dad was famous. He has an uncle who's the head coach of the University of Cincinnati Bearcats. He's going to go play quarterback at UC.
Yep.
And he's got a grandfather who played Major League Baseball, Wally Post, for 15 years, primarily with the Reds. Hit 210 home runs in the show. But, maybe the best is yet to come. Of course, you got young Jacob, but he's got 2 sisters, Ava in 10th grade and Layla in 7th grade, outstanding volleyball players.
Absolutely. So he's not even the best athlete in his house. So I would give it to the volleyball girls, not the dad, not the son, but let's give it to the volleyball girls.
Absolutely, because those girls can elevate and spike, and then, of course, they have to serve.
And you got to be an athlete to play volleyball. I mean, and I'm sure they are. As Coach Zabo gets a timeout. It was a good timeout, but, Watterson's went to this man-to-man defense here in the second half, and CJ's really got a lot of really good looks as he steps up and knocks down the free throw. And against Owen Chaminade in the regional semifinal and regional final has come up big for Columbus Watterson, as he's one of their better players.
Had 10 points and 5 rebounds 2 nights ago.
Yeah, only a sophomore.
1 of 2, and Nassif, who has been as good as anybody in this region tournament, gets the rebound.
I'm anxious to see when those as he shoots the 3 there.
And it's off the mark for Solomon.
Oh, look at the rebound.
Nassif, of course, in the lane. He can't get it to drop in or go to the line.
Yeah, to finish my point, I'm anxious to see the co-ed when they come out with the first team, second team, player of the year, all that, where Nassif falls in. I mean, he's a surefire first teamer, right? And I don't know if they do defensive player of the year, but if they do, it's got to be him. I mean, he defensive rebounds, and you can't score on him inside. Just what a great defender as he bricks the free throw.
Well, here's the thing about Nassif, and maybe perhaps to a greater point. Well, I'm sorry, about Bishop Watterson, as Nassif can't get either.
Yeah, missed both.
Now we'll hit on that point later.
Yeah, but Nassif has got 52% shooting from the field, and Coach said he started off in the season, first 5 or 6 games, around 30. So to tell you the difference there.
Chaminade, low on the right, lost it to Solomon. Now it's still loose, and it's out of bounds.
Oh, who are they going to give it to?
I think we're going to head the other way, to the north bucket for CJ.
Yeah, what great effort. What great effort by Solomon to get dirty there. And he probably he's probably dove into second or third base a few times, I imagine, being a state champ second baseman for the CJ Eagles.
Keon Owens on the last dead ball came in. He triggers. And by the way, even though our roster says Kenyon, he goes by Keon. Go figure.
Keon.
So it's a double screen set up high for A.J. Solomon, and they'll give to the right.
That's a horn action there. A lot of NBA teams run that.
Owens dribbles and kicks it out. Here's Solomon coming off the wing, missed off the bottom of the rim. He tries to get it back, and we've got a tie-up.
Looks like that's going to be possession arrow, Columbus Watterson. What a great drive there by Solomon to not get the charge, because he kind of slid his body and didn't get the charge, but he blew the layup. But that horn action earlier, they run that a lot. I see that on tape, where they got that flare screen for Chandler after he comes off the ball screen.
It's Lewis, checked out there by Jonathan Powell, who we've not talked much about here in this ballgame. Team's leading scorer at nearly 13 a contest. but he's been impressive as a freshman.
This is the lineup, again, I said earlier, as
Takeaway.
Owen gets the steal.
Owens down the lane to the rack. He goes!
That might have been the first shot he's taken in a couple games, a dead layup, but he is a great defender as he comes up with a big steal and full-court layup there for CJ.
33-22, back to a double-digit lead for the CJ Eagles. Drive, kick, Hoying, baseline three, he airmails it. The rebound to Powell, and here comes CJ. Stop and go, penetrates to the rack on the runner, wave it off.
Yep. Got a foul on the drive for Dickey there, I believe. As he was driving to the basket. Angelo Zalotos with the call. Again, great referee crew as they get their box set for their underneath out of bounds here.
The trigger will be Solomon. Direct entry to Nassif. He can't get it.
He's going to wish he used two hands on that. What a great play, but you got to use two hands on that.
Getting too fancy with just under 4 to play here in the third. That might be his only mistake of this regional tournament. The misfire by Samanuk, and here comes CJ once more. Solomon off the flank, in the lane, throws it up. No, it's a blocking call down low.
And again, I said it earlier, he uses his body so well. Watch this. Earlier he did the same thing on the baseline. Watch him step over, a Euro step. He uses his body so well, you have to slide to try to take a charge. And they're not going to call that. That's going to be a blocking call all day. He's so good with his body and the way he maneuvers himself, and he did it earlier on the baseline drive and just did it in the open court there. Hold on. They're trying to get the something going on at the table there. Yeah. Just probably making sure who got the right foul call. Okay.
Well, they had called it on Initar, and that's his third foul. They're calling 3, not 4.
Yeah, that's his third call. Yeah, okay.
And while we have a moment, let's send it to Patrick.
Well, guys, I asked head coach Charlie Zabo of CJ yesterday, tell me about a player on his team that has played a much bigger role this season than expected. His answer, I can't name just one because every player stepped up in a big way, especially his younger guys. He said Thursday's example was Kenyon Owens, a player who Zabo said never hung his head after not getting off the bench in 2 games, was able to contribute on both sides of the floor in the win over Tippecanoe. Zabo said, we've had so many guys buy into the team concept, support each other over themselves, which has been enough to propel his team this far into the postseason, Jeff.
Patrick, thank you. And the miss on the second one. And we saw at the back end of that play, Jacob Hoying down on his backside.
Yeah, it looked like Bowman fouled him, number 4 for Chaminade-Julienne there. Kind of knocked him to the ground.
Yeah, he did.
As he steps in, and you can't do that. You gotta establish the ball in, then come in with 2 feet. And that's why they just called that a turnover against Watterson as CJ's got their out-of-bounds play here, a little handoff play.
And a near takeaway, and a takeaway off the hands of Tucker.
Yeah, they didn't fall for that. A lot of teams run that little fake handoff, drive baseline, and Watterson with great defense.
3 off the catch, knock it down. Yeah. Noah Graham, his third trifecta this afternoon.
When he gets his feet set, Jeff, he's got a great-looking stroke. As they're hanging around here, only 34-25 with 3 minutes to go in the third, with Cole Rett out of the game. Please take note of that.
It's Powell, stop and go, pumps free throw line, off the front iron, and here comes Bishop Watterson off the rebound from Hoying, quickly up front.
Powell forced that shot there, Coach Zabo. My guess is going to get him out, settle the freshman down, like, look, we don't need to be driving and shooting on 3 people here. We got the lead.
Graham trying to work on Bowman, can't get around him, and plays to Lewis, around Powell, down the lane, to the rack, he goes, no good, and he drew the foul with 2:44 to play here in this third.
And then he just got driven by Powell with the bad closeout and leaning over, and just goes right by. Can we play that back again in our truck? I don't know if we can or not. I don't think we can. I don't know if they heard me, but if we play that back, I want to show everybody, look at his shoulder here, if we do this as he shoots the free throw. Nice free throw. But look at Powell leaning over, just leaning over and not. And here's the teaching point on that. You got to get your butt down and your shoulders up to guard people. And as he is getting told now on the bench about how to guard, because Coach Zabo, the bad shot was one thing, but the bad defense is another for Coach.
Well, you bring up a good point, and I'll bring up a football analogy, right? they teach defensive backs and linebackers to look at a player's waist, the ball carrier's waist, and not the ball they're carrying. They work into Bowman. Low on the right, rejected, but a foul coming as well.
Oh, and Coach and Doug Harmon's underneath, kind of not looking at Angelo Zalotos as he blew that call. Angelo might have blown that one as that was a clean block. But these guys are having a great game as far as the referees. And going back to your point, to play defensive back or guard on the perimeter, Coach Zabo's team, you got to get your butt down and your hands out and play with your feet. And Powell's kind of leaning over, but he's a freshman, good teaching point. They won't leave him out long, I guarantee that, not here in the regional final, as he is one of the best freshmen in Southwest Ohio. I mean, if you talk to coaches, Jeff, they say that.
I got a point on the freshman part as Bowman tees it up for the second, 1 of 2. The rebound and no putback, and we've got a foul down low as Kylan Tucker got the rebound, tried to score on the miss with 2:30 left to go here in this third.
Look who kept that ball alive. Owen. It was Owen. He didn't get the rebound. He kept it live. And he kept it live, and now they got a chance to step to the free throw line as Tucker got the ball. But Owen tipped that ball, which was amazing. And he does so many little bitty things.
Deep knee bend. The right-hander throws it up and good. Want to make a remark, a follow-up on your freshman comment in regards to
as he's back
Jonathan Powell.
No, he's not. Sorry.
So the other freshman that you and I got to see firsthand that we were so impressed by was Tyler McKinley.
Oh, man. Yeah, so he's a big at Walnut Hills. Coach Ricardo Hill says he's one of the best, not only in the state, but in the country, and I believe that. As look at CJ pressure. Full court, 94 feet is what this floor is here at Vandalia Butler. You can tell that by looking at the volleyball line. It's right close to the free throw line.
11-point spread. Making a move is Lewis. Outside. Here's a drive. No finish. Can't get it to drop for Initar. Here comes CJ on the move. Tucker outside. 3 on the way!
What a great pass by Tucker. He actually waited for Chandler's feet to get set and then threw it to him. Because I was wondering, you're going to throw the ball ahead. We got a little foul in the open court. Zabo loves that pressure, but that's foul. It's only the 14th foul for CJ. But
by the way, your man who you called out at the beginning of the game, yep. Luke Chandler, his second trifecta of the afternoon, he's got 8 points. And they've been a bit, even though the margin is 14 right now, they've been a big 8 points.
Yeah, they are, and he's the guy that kind of, I think personally, one of the guys that got Watterson out of their zone defense, and now Columbus Bishop Watterson is playing man-to-man here in the whole second half.
By the way, CJ has played home run ball this afternoon. They have 6 makes from behind the three-point line, 18 of their 40 points.
Yeah. But this is where they're winning the game, on this side of the court, Jeff. Playing great half-court defense, just settling in, CJ style. Look at Owen again!
Graham got double-teamed and got taken away by Owens, and now we've got a whistle-stopping play and a foul.
Yeah, we got Lewis, I think, with the foul, and Chandler. He was setting the screen for Owen, and then he just ran him over. Lewis ran him over. That's an easy call to make.
2 on Lewis.
But they must have called a push, because if it was a charge, help me here, I don't think he would be shooting free throws. So he must have just called the push on him. Called the push in the open court.
Yeah.
That shows you my referee skills. And I was a coach, man. I'm not a referee, but obviously those guys are not going to mess it up. And Coach Lombardo's not even arguing it. He's talking to his guy down there.
Let's fly on the first of 1 in the bonus. No good. Off the top of the window, and the rebound down low. Tucker, wrap around down low, back outside, and he stepped out of bounds.
Look at the effort by Tucker, though. Oh, my goodness. That's regional final effort. Those guys, like you said, Patrick's point, it's not just one person. It's all these guys off the bench that are chipping in, and we got a foul. But chipping in and making great plays.
Got a foul, a hold off the ball with 1:29 left to go here in this third.
And that's the 6th. I don't know if you can see it up there, but that is the 16th foul, Jeff.
It's number 1 on Owens. So 1 more will mean 1 in the bonus for both teams the rest of the way with 1:24 to go here in the third. Lewis off the bobbled catch.
And like you mentioned earlier.
Drives on Owens, stuck mid-post, back outside. Graham pumps 18 feet straight on.
What a great shot as he hit a couple spot-up threes and now expanding his game with that little off-the-ball screen mid-range pull-up. That's a hard shot.
6'3" senior Noah Graham has 11 in this ball game. 40-28, under a minute to play as Solomon handles it for the CJ Eagles. Off the high screen, and they give it back on the reversal. Jump stop in the lane. Nothing doing this time down.
Yeah, great defense by Watterson there as they held their hands straight up, and Dickey tried to force the shot.
Outside penetration. Now the kick out. Hoying for three. Just missed.
That kind of took your breath away there. They needed that three as that was a great pass. And CJ's going to go for the last shot, Jeff, with 23 seconds here to go in the third quarter.
Well, it's funny, almost funny, partner, to see them play from in front after what we saw against Tippecanoe 2 nights ago. This ball's loose on the floor, and with 13.3 left to go, we head the other way as Owens tried to collect it out on the bottom of your screen, out on the sideline, and danced out.
Yeah, you got Hoying and Chaminade playing defense on that sideline there. They're just not giving up. I mean, they're not giving up. They're playing hard. As we talked about Hoying earlier, he's a senior, and Owen Chaminade is a sophomore, but two guys that are really good players for Columbus Watterson. Not giving up, down 12 with 13 to go.
Throw into the backcourt. It goes to Lewis. Final shot forthcoming here in this third period.
Yeah, their little high ball screen here, trying to get paint touches.
Outside, stuck at the elbow. It's Graham triggering three off the mark, and that's the way this third period ends. It's 40-28. CJ's in control after three here in the regional final. It's our march to Columbus on Chatterbox Live. And down the stretch we go here in this Division II regional final here in Vandalia. 40-28. The CJ Eagles are in control, along with Sean Van Winkle. I'm Geoff Kim. Thanks for joining us here on Chatterbox Live. Partner, it's been by increments, but CJ just has taken control of this one.
They have, and they've done it on the defensive end, and I don't want to keep wearing that point out, but Chaminade-Julienne's been known for defense for many, many, many years. As Coach Szabo's is a graduate of Chaminade-Julienne. We got Joe Staley Jr., who's down there pointing out. If you can see him with the towel on his shoulder there on the screen, he's the defensive guy and offensive guy sometimes too, but he's really, really the defensive coach for Coach Szabo.
Tucker to throw in out of the quarter break. A.J. Solomon taking his time up the floor. At the end of every quarter, here's a three straight on for a pow! That may be your dagger.
That was a great play out of the quarter break for Chaminade-Julienne as we got Nassif back in the game. And notice Rhett has been out for a while now.
Traveling.
Well,
it's a 15-point lead, partner, and I know it's a little early for the dagger call, but oh my goodness, when you have a 15-point game, when your team, the opposite number's not scoring, as Cole Rhett is waiting to check back in, partner, that's a hard mountain to climb.
It is, especially the way Chaminade plays defense. I mean, it's one thing that if they kind of shoot some bad shots, because that'll let you get back in, but that's only if you play bad defense, and they don't. So it's going to be tough mountain to climb here for Watterson. Not going to count them out. Because nobody thought they'd be here, right? So you can't count them out, but it is going to be a hard road to tie here for the Watterson Eagles.
Well, I think about this, partner, right? When nobody expects you to be in a regional final, there's the notion that you're playing with house money. At some point, the gravity of this hits the participants, right?
It does.
If you're a player, if you're a coach on the team that nobody expects, and now you're in it, as Nassif sets the high screen for Solomon, the runner, he can't get it to fall.
Yeah, that's a nice little play they ran earlier, and Solomon turned it over.
Oh, a lot of hard contact, and we're glad to see that Sam Initar got up all right.
Yeah, if you watch this here, this is earning your foul. You get 5, Nassif is going to give you, you're going to have to earn the shots here as Nassif is aggressive on that foul. But to your point earlier, Columbus Watterson not supposed to be here, and I don't think too many people would bet CJ, but they're playing their best basketball at the right time of the year as the CJ Eagles are really, really settling in on defense.
Well, CJ was a 5 seed
Yes.
out of this side of the bracket, as we see a free throw made there. They were a 5 seed, so it's not that nobody thought they would be here, in as much as Tippecanoe, for instance, and McNicholas were so good in the season that it was easy to overlook CJ.
Yeah, it was. And you had Ross and Tippecanoe and McNicholas and all these teams that are just had great years. And then this is the team that's kind of come through. And there's that little rub screen they ran earlier.
Now Seif draws a double down low. He still fires up anyways. He step out of bounds. Nor did he draw the foul.
I think Zabo's saying, look, son, if you got 3 people on you, kick the ball back out. And he forced it down there, but their defense is like a long weekend with your in-laws. I hope my in-laws not listening, but if you're playing CJ, their defense is like a long weekend with your in-laws, and that's to people who are married out there. They know exactly what the heck I'm talking about.
Dan Seif on the front end of one of the bonus. Good, 6'7", a senior. 10 points a ball game. A team best 7.5 rebounds a contest. He has been so huge in these regional tournament games as Cole Rett gets the misfire, 1 of 2 for the big man Seif.
Yeah, Seif's brother's a basketball manager down for Clemson University. So a lot of basketball in that family.
Hoying turns baseline and scores.
Settled his feet down there, slowed himself down, and what a great shot. The problem is they're going to have to try to come up. They got a timeout by Coach Zabo here. It's a full timeout.
6:33 to go until the deciding factor in this one becomes apparent. 44-31, a 13-point spread for CJ. They are 6:33 away from a trip to state.
Yeah, so why did Coach Zabo call the timeout? This is where it becomes real coaching. Like, you have to understand, guys, we have the lead, but I'm not against what McNick did the other night, okay? But I felt like McNick was trying to stall late in the game and not continue to attack. So if you're Coach Zabo now, that might be the conversation, okay? We're not going to spread them out, but guys, we're going to keep attacking, but we need to take very, very high percentage shots, okay? We don't need to take one pass threes and things like that, but we need to really take care of the ball, take high percentage shots. And then with that being said, down here on defense, guys, this is why we're here. We're in this game because of half-court defense, so they got to settle in to play defense.
On the other side for Bishop Watterson, keep in mind they were 3-14 at one point in the season.
Lost two guys.
And they lost 2 of their best guys, Noah Groover and Davis Boone. And, great rebounding guys. It took them a while to figure out their own identity. Once they did, they've since gone on a 9-1 run. 9 wins, 1 loss, down the final 10, going to this regional final. I mean, that is as impressive coaching job for Vince Lombardo. And let's keep in mind, this is a guy who's won state and gone to state twice.
Yep, last time they were in this game, they ended up losing to Norwalk, I think, in the final game in 2014, as they get a little fake screen here.
Now Seif turns into the lane. He can't get it to fall. Rett gets the rebound, and he draws the foul.
I really like that play. I think Seif now is probably in foul trouble. How many does he have?
I think 4. He's got 4. To my count, he's got 4.
They're bringing in Bowman, who's a junior, number 4, coming in for Seif. But great play out of the timeout. High percentage shot, right? That's what we wanted. That's what CJ wanted, I'm sorry. And with that high percentage shot, he missed the layup. And then a lot of times, don't make 2 mistakes. Don't miss a layup and then foul, right? I mean, and that's kind of what he did there as the big fella misses a free throw.
Front end of one of the bonus, no good for Cole Rett. Dickey the rebound for CJ, and they can smell it.
Yeah, they're running their motion now. They're going to keep moving, trying to get paint touches.
Coach, even if somebody comes open down low and Bowman gets it, and he will take a shot into the lane, up with the left hand and 2 more.
He wanted to foul there, Coach Zabo, but what a great move as Bowman just checked into the game and he played with his hands again.
Yep.
Again, we talked about it, the young freshman playing with his hands there, but it's one of those, and I hate picking on the guy, but I mean, he's going at him, he's leaned over, and then he just used his hands. If you watch Solomon play defense, he gets there with his hands straight up in the air and his feet moving, but that's the difference between a senior and a freshman.
He'll learn.
And I tell you what, there ain't a coach in this area that wouldn't like to have that guy on your team, as he's one of the best freshmen I've seen all year. And Jonathan Powell from Chaminade-Julienne they're hanging around still.
Back end of one of the bonuses, no good, but they get the rebound. And we got a tie up down low, and now we've got some curriculars.
Yeah.
Right as Noah Graham got the rebound, he got tied up initially by Bowman, and they got into a little kerfuffle for about a half a second.
Oh, yeah. Possession arrow, Columbus, Bishop Watterson.
So they get it baseline out of bounds underneath the CJ hoop with 5:49 to go. A trip to the Final Four on the line, catch and release, 3 on the way.
Very surprised how open he was on that, as I was bragging on Solomon playing great D, and he kind of let him get it in his pocket and got the 3 up as a Roy.
Owen Saminuk with 9 in the book, and the answer for Bowman, he can't get it to fall. Here's a hope for a run out, and now it'll be a control. A control here by Bishop Watterson, down by 11.
He's trying to get paint touches. 5 out. What a cut.
High-low beauty.
What a cut. They're spreading the defense out, Jeff, and taking advantage. They're taking advantage. They're taking advantage of that pressure. So if you watch how much pressure they put on the ball, they put so much pressure, then you just go right back door, and that's how you beat them. I mean, that's exactly what you got to do, that pressure defense. It's hard at times, but to alleviate pressure, attack pressure. And that's exactly what Watterson did with the back door there, and sometimes with just dribbling it. Sometimes just with dribbling it. But what great offense here by Columbus Watterson, as we got a game now, Jeff, a 9-point game.
And that's thanks to a 6-0 run.
Yes.
We didn't see that one coming, but, it's like what we saw maybe perhaps the other night. You put an on-the-ball defender, it changes how an offense runs, and they run out of sync. It's like a transmission, right?
Yep.
If something's not working within that chain, then you run ragged and you eventually lose momentum. Same might go here. Now, it's a little early still with 46-37, but time's on the side of CJ, but they still got to get some points.
Yeah. CJ gave open that wide open 3 on the underneath out of bounds. Very uncharacteristic. Very uncharacteristic of the Eagles.
Dickey, great ball handling up on top to get it away from St. Initar. Over for Powell. Powell dribble drive to the free throw line. Back outside Solomon. Passes it out, and we head the other way.
Yeah, a little out of control there. Good no call. I like what Chaminade-Julienne was doing. They were putting pressure. Again, when both teams are in the bonus, put pressure on that defense by driving right at them.
Owen got a handle, and now they come to the other side with Initar. It's Lewis, lost the handle to Dickey. It's a 3-on-3, and now they catch up, and now he lost the handle.
Powell with the great defense, kind of poked the ball away, and Dickey got it, but they weren't able to convert.
A long 3 is airmailed. Nothing doing for Saminuk this time down.
See, this is why this is good. I like how CJ's continuing to attack.
Solomon to the rack, left it off the front of the rim, no good. 4:17 to go to the end of this one, and we got free throws coming.
Yeah, you got to continue to attack. And if you watch Solomon here, don't delay. Let's keep going. We got to be on the attack. Let's don't play to lose. Let's play to win the game. And I like that as Solomon steps up. Big-time senior for Chaminade-Julienne.
Oh, my goodness.
As we got some new guys coming in, the defensive guys, the energy guys for Chaminade, and number 5, Tucker, and number 23, Owen. We love the way those guys play on the defensive end. Are they going to go offense-defense right now with 4 minutes to go? Who knows?
Partner, that might be the way to go to manage your human resources, as it were. Solomon gets 1 of 2.
And people may ask, when will we see Nassif again? 10-point lead, he's going to be on the bench for a little bit longer. If they get into the 6-5 range, he's coming off the bench with 4 fouls.
It's Graham looking inside for the big spoon. Dances in the lane.
Okay.
He walked.
What's the difference there?
Or no, I'm sorry.
He
Beg your pardon. He got fouled.
Yeah, he got fouled. But what is the difference on the interior defense there? The difference was Nassif would jump that right shoulder. Now Tucker, not as strong maybe as Nassif, allowed him to get that little step on that right inside shoulder, and that's why he's going to the foul line right now, Jeff.
Number 3 on Tucker.
Easier said than done.
Yes.
As big as Red is, as the big guy steps up and hits the free throw, and now we're going to bring in some maybe offense for defense like we were talking about earlier as Bowman steps back in for Chaminade-Julienne, and Bowman's a junior, inside guy, good player. Good offensive guy, made a great move earlier we watched.
Right, in fact, got the first bucket after Nassif got saddled with the 4. So 1 of 2. Here comes Powell.
Keep playing. Keep playing. Don't delay. Just keep running your offense. Keep attacking the basket.
Under 4 to play as Solomon stuck right of the lane.
Nice ball screen.
15-footer. Oh, that's a beauty,
what
partner.
A great screen by. He sprinted to that screen, which people don't understand. A lot of times, like, you got to come off of it. No, if he sprints to it, what a great shot by Chandler. Nice pull-up jumper.
49-38. Back to a double-digit lead.
There, they're jumping the shoulder now. There they are, jumping that shoulder. See the difference?
Checked by Bowman. Swings it out to the corner. Drive by Graham. Stuck and threw it away into the hands of Chandler.
What great help side by Bowman to go over. Second-level defender. Stop the drive, as now we got 3 minutes to go. And they're continuing to attack. I like that.
Solomon shot. We'll see if Powell is. Powell stays outside. Now Chandler, side pocket left. Gives it up, gets it back, puts it on the floor, and they'll reset.
Yep.
It's Powell, high-low for Bowman. Low on the right and 2 more. That's a big 2, partner.
That's a huge 2. Bowman playing great defense, then goes down and scores a great bucket for CJ as we got a timeout.
Timeout with 2:34 to go. Let's send it to Patrick.
Guys, ask head coach Vince Lombardo of Bishop Watterson, after all your years of coaching, how will you look back and remember this crazy year? He told me he'll remember the transformation and progress of his team throughout the season, how they kept working, continuing to get better every game. Lombardo told me even though COVID had major headlines on this season and played a huge role in it, he said his team, his guys, will be the big thing he takes away. They alone were impressive this season, Jeff.
Patrick, thank you. And how Bishop Watterson got here to this regional final, partner. They beat the 11th seed Bexley 47-31, the 7th seed Linden McKinley 59-45. They upset the 3 seed Beechcroft in double overtime 43-39. 3 days later, they won the district over the 4 seed Heath 44-35. And of course, they went to double overtime and beat McNick by 7 2 days ago.
Yeah, who was the number 1 seed out of Cincinnati. And talking to Coach Lombardo, they've been, house money, a lot of people will say, but they have great history. Like I mentioned earlier, they won the state championship in 2013 against St. Vincent St. Mary, and then they also were here in 2014 where they made it all the way to the final game and lost to Norwalk in the state championship. As we got a baseline out of bounds play here, and CJ Guy forgets he's on defense. He's at the wrong part.
Lewis gives it up, gets it back. He hits from the corner, and it's rejected.
He got the block. Throw it ahead.
Solomon in the lane. Down low for Owens. And 1! And there's your dagger.
What a play. Watch Owen change. Now, I don't know if Trace Fowler could do this back in the day for Hamilton. He gets up, goes right up, ball fakes. Neither Trace nor myself were able to get up in the air like that, but if we did, we would show it, bring it down, and then score it at the end. What a great play by number 23, Owen, who's known as his defensive tenacity for the CJ Eagles.
Can't complete the old-fashioned 3. 15 points since the spread. They get it back as Powell making his move was fouled with 2:21 to go.
Yeah, we talked about this beginning of the game. It's going to be a free throw contest. And we don't have great stats for Chaminade as far as great free throw shooters, again, but they're all still hovering around the 70 range, maybe 80 range.
Both teams in the double bonus.
As he shoots 80% as a freshman, steps up and misses the first.
Announcer's jinx.
Yep. And now we're bringing Nassif back in, and some may say, why? Well, you have to.
Yes.
Defensive rebounding. He's got 4 fouls. the game's probably, I would say, almost over.
It's over.
So you gotta bring him out there as Owen comes out of the game, and the Chaminade-Julienne fans just give the kid a great hand as he sits the bench now as Nassif back in.
Powell makes 1 of 2, got 7 in the book, and I'll say it's over right now, even though there's a lot more points to be had as Chaminade goes right to the rack and in. And it's a charge.
Look what he does. He comes off the bench. He's been sitting there, and he rotates over and lays his body out. Easy call. Boom. His feet were set. I don't know who the player of the year is going to be in the GCL South. I may have to phone a friend, which would be Reed Mouse, who is a GCL South fan, knows a lot better than me. But this kid, Nassif, he has to be in the talking about it, right? I mean, who else they have? I don't know. I mean, I'm going to have to phone a friend on that. But, yeah, Nassif, what a great run he's had.
So tough little sequence for Chaminade is guilty of the charge. There's a player control foul, and he tapped it away. However, it's out of bounds, and it's a return. And now we've got another foul as Chaminade into the body of Powell. Picks up the personal with 2:06 to go.
He's the guy you don't want to foul if you're Columbus Watterson, but at this time you really don't have many options as far as waiting.
Well, it's a 16-point spread, and this is as big a lead as we've seen for the Eagles as they have imposed their will here in half number 2. Powell hits the first.
Yeah, earlier Patrick talked about what Coach Lombardo had to say about his team, but what he had to say about Chaminade, he said they're playing well, they're playing great at the right time of year, and he's extremely impressed with Nassif, who we've been talking about the last couple of minutes.
Steal. Powell to the rack and wave it off. Foul coming well before Powell can make the attempt.
Still going to shoot 2 now that we're over 10. But, going back to Coach Lombardo, he said this is this time of year, like the Chaminade-Julienne Eagles. He said they're playing really good at the right time of the year, and he is so impressed with Nassif and the other kid that he was ultra impressed with, the guy stepping up to the line right now, which is Powell.
So Lewis fouls out. Nick Malagreca at 6'2", a senior, wearing the number 23 for Bishop Watterson, checks in. And the first free throw for for Powell is good. The coronation for the Eagles as Powell makes them both is forthcoming with under 2 minutes to play in this one, and it's the biggest lead of the ball game at 58-38. And it's been an outstanding last 5 quarters for the CJ Eagles.
Yeah, and it all started and stopped with defense, which is what they're known for. As again, you see Coach Staley on your screen there. He's the guy that has the towel on his left shoulder, and he's a very defensive-minded young coach. And I asked Coach about his assistants, and they love when you ask that, by the way, because everybody knows if you've been a head coach, it's not about you, it's about the assistant coaches. Mm-hmm. It's all about the assistant coaches. And he's got Coach Joe Staley Jr., who's a grad, Coach Vogel. He's got Coach Kidd, who's been around forever in the program. And those are the guys that are the lifeblood of the program with Coach Sabo. And what a run they're having. What a run they're having. And who do they, again, the winner gets who in the state semifinal
They get the winner of St. Francis de Sales and Byersville Meadowbrook. They have a 3 o'clock tip.
Tip today, yep. And if you're Coach Lombardo, you're trying to get your seniors in that are not hurt.
Chaminade and 1.
Yeah, what a great drive there.
Well, we've got a little bit of time. I want to mention Chaminade-Julienne. The 5-seed Eagles got here by running over the 18-seed Kenton Ridge to open their tourney back on February 12th. Now, think about how long ago February 12th is. But that's 63-43 about a month ago before blowing out the 11-seed Ben Logan 4 days later, 74-29. They beat conference foe and the 4-seed Alter 69-60 on February 26th. They got by the Cincinnati 5-seed Wyoming 56-51 to capture the Southwest 3 district, and old-fashioned 3 is good. Then 2 nights ago, they came back from 20 down to beat Tippecanoe 58-55. And we got a foul on the other end with 1:45 to go.
Yeah, Chaminade-Julienne probably has their 5 best free throw shooters in as as Solomon stepping up to the basket and Tucker coming in. Little offense, defense for Chaminade-Julienne. That's a 5th foul.
So Sam finishes the ball game with 4 points. So attrition we figured would come into play, and if it came to bench strength, it was going to belong to CJ this afternoon.
And real quick, if you don't mind, Jeff, I'm going to just a shout out to the Watterson seniors. We got Noah Graham, who's a senior, Sam Inatar, Noah Kruger, and Davis Boone, like we talked about. Nick, number 23, is a senior, and then we got Jacob Hoying. This is the tough part as seniors. This is your last game. But did they think they would be in this? Maybe not, but they did make it to the regional finals, and hats off to the Columbus Bishop Watterson seniors this year.
1 of 2 for Solomon. Drive, nothing doing. The putback, Samuel is rejected. Solomon on the break. Thank you very much! There's your exclamation point, Nassif.
And we got a guy running behind the bench down there for the Chaminade-Julienne as that was bringing the house down.
3 on the other end for Salmon. Well, they're still playing out there, even though this one has been decided.
This might be your Headlines play of the game. Headlines a great sponsor for us. 2 feet, 1 hand. Thank you very much. You said dunk you. Thank you, same thing. But what a great dunk for Nassif. And man, these guys have been really fun to watch. Man, they've been fun to watch as they made their magical run. And you can go back and watch these games as we have them all on Chatterbox's website. They do a great job of putting the games there, and that's how I go back and scout, to be perfectly honest. But if you're wondering about the Chaminade-Julienne Eagles, go back and watch some of the previous games, as we've got them all on Chatterbox Archive with everybody else, Division I and Division II, as this might be our 850th game in the last 3 weeks. At least it seems like it. But this is my 30th game today, Jeff.
Wow.
And I want to thank Reed and Trace and Sean Spurlock, who's always the guys behind it. I want to thank you and Nathaniel and also Patrick. I called games with Patrick this year, and just what a great group of guys, and our sponsors and all of the production, and Joe Meehan. Oh, my God. Joe Meehan is right now probably tailgating with the Moeller Crusader family members, as tonight is the biggest night in Joe's life, as he gets to see if his boys can make it to the finals, as CJ is dribbling it out here.
102 left to go, as Solomon will go to the line with 62 seconds left. So, in talking about that game for a second while we can, it'll be Centerville.
Game.
Yes,
yep,
it'll be Centerville, the 1 seed out of the Dayton part of the bracket, and Moeller, the top seed out of the Cincinnati side. They will face and meet up this evening, and we'll have that here on Chatterbox Live. Well, go ahead, partner.
Yep, it's a 7:30 start.
Yep.
And I believe there's a coach's show ahead of time.
Yep.
So look about 7 o'clock to log back in for this evening. Sorry to interrupt you there.
No, partner.
As we got guys coming off,
Yep.
and I don't know if the camera can get these guys going to the bench, which is tough. But this is as they clear the bench for CJ. What a magical run for the Watterson Eagles.
They came up just short. I mean, and again, both teams really had to overcome both physical and mental stress 2 nights ago. It was a double overtime win for Bishop Watterson to get here, and CJ had to come back from 20 down against Tippecanoe, and then they ended up winning that game by 3 in regulation. A lot of stress, and at some point you just wear out, and the number of bullets in your chamber just go to 0.
And it's all about defense for Chaminade-Julienne. Patrick's going to get, hopefully, Coach Zabo. And again, I got this $100 bill in my pocket. Do you want to think he says we are going to the state championship because of offense? No way. It's because of defense, baby. And the Eagles have stepped it up today, this afternoon, on the defensive end. Wow, what a run they're having right now.
So wholesale substitutions. Pete Mangold will handle the ball. Play it backward. Here's a drive to the rack, high off the window, and a beauty shot by Nick Malagreca.
Oh, yeah. And they're still turning the heat up, and they get a little steal here as CJ's breaking the press now.
Justin Mora has the ball with 42 to play.
Now, if I'm one of these guys, I shoot it. Coaches tell me not, but I would shoot it. Jump ball. See, that's a program play there for Watterson. You talk about just doing the little things. And we got guys who've been sitting on the bench and some guys that haven't played a lot, and they're getting in, they're diving on the floor. they're diving on the floor. Now, if I'm a Chaminade-Julienne Eagle here, I'm shooting one up, but Coach may kill me if I did it.
Colin Feller will trigger into the backcourt. We'll see if Justin Morrow will be allowed to dribble out with 30 seconds to go. They double-team the ball handler, try to steal from behind, tapped out to the CJ bench with 26.5 to go.
Coach Szabo still down there coaching these guys, man, talking about rotate over and get to the middle when teams are trapping you. And
they play it in. Up high, it's Mora to the free throw line, outside. And we'll see a shot taken with 17 to go! Oh, you love it for Lee Langendorfer. Timeout.
he's a senior, folks, for the Chaminade-Julienne Eagles. Gets a three, and they're subbing him out so he can get a standing ovation, I believe. I know they called a timeout, full timeout, with 14.5. But I think Coach did that because he wanted the Chaminade. See, guys on the bench, what people don't understand, Solomon is probably getting guarded every day by Lee. And Lee's making him better as a player. I mean, number 15 for CJ. And sometimes they don't get the hype or the stats or the love. But every good team has great players that guard them every day in practice.
By the way, the two injured players, Noah Groover and Davis Boone, the young men who were out of the ball game, out of the season back in December, they check in for a final time, and what a really nice tribute by their head coach, Vince Lombardo.
Yeah, they're probably,
beautiful.
Yeah, who knows where they're at with their injury, if it was an ACL or whatever, but he's putting them in for 14 seconds here to let them end their high school career on the court, which is so special for those two young men.
They play to the corner. Groover for three. He airmails that one, and it's down to CJ. And they'll dribble out. Let the Eagles soar! CJ goes to state! (66-46) the final. A 20-point win as CJ essentially will stay home, go to the Final Four at the University of Dayton Arena. As we see Patrick Geshin down there, we see the two coaches come together, congratulating one another for getting here, and it was such a trip for both schools to get here. As he'll come up with Charlie Szabo, and let's send it down to Patrick.
Coach, such a strong performance by your team in this one. How did you get the win?
The effort of these kids. We finally started hitting some shots. We kept stringing together shots, stops. It's a really good feeling. We're about to get bombed here. I don't want you to get hurt. That no seat kid hurts people.
First time to the Final Four for your program in 6 years. What is the feeling for your team right now?
You know, it's indescribable. It's really, really good. We didn't necessarily expect to be there. Nobody did. Yeah, you know, everybody starts the first day of practice with this goal, and to actually achieve it, it's pretty crazy. It's pretty crazy. What a great group of kids. You know, they just kept at it. So, really good.
Congrats on the win. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you very much.
Guys.
Patrick, thank you very much. Charlie Szabo, as a head coach, will go and be a part of Chaminade-Julienne lore in his second year at the helm, spearheading his Eagles to the Final Four after being a longtime assistant under Joe Staley. And what a tribute to him, a young man who's one of 6 children, and he bleeds blue and green, and he gets to take his beloved Eagles to state.
Yeah, and hats off to our production today by being able to get an interview with a coach literally as he just went to the state. He's won a state championship. To get that emotion, but I do want to go on the record. He talked a little bit about offense, but stops equals defense. So I just want to make sure that he said something about defense. But as we got Nassif, who might be the MVP of this region, as they are going to represent the Southwest region, he might be the MVP of the region going there. But going back to what Patrick down there talking to the coach, that's just cold, hard emotion. And like you said, he's a graduate, Coach Szabo, second year as a head coach. Congratulations to the Chaminade-Julienne Eagles.
Nassif, as you saw, cutting it down. Now we see A.J. Solomon getting a string as well. I want to talk about Nassif. 19 points and 9 boards 2 nights ago. He had 13, including the exclamation point in this one. I mean, when he was in the game, he had really held down Cole Rett from a defensive presence. And then when he had to take shots, especially deep into that second quarter, he answered the bell.
Yeah, a lot of people talk, and you said it great. A lot of people talk about the offense, the shots, the rebound. Here's the deal. The kid is an incredible interior defender, and Rhett could not get anything going. He could not get anything going. He was jumping his right shoulder. He wasn't letting him score. It's a lot about the scouting report. As Coach Szabo said, Nassif might be the single smartest human in this gym. He said the kid is just incredible. And he executed the scouting report for the Chaminade-Julienne Eagles. And again, that cold, hard emotion by Coach Szabo. Hats off, we've said it just one last time, hats off to Columbus Watterson and a magical season, a roller coaster ride with guys getting hurt, and they had some quarantine issues. They had all the issues like everybody else, but hats off to Columbus Watterson as well.
You know, again, to your point, right, Bishop Watterson could have thrown in the towel. 3-14 to start off this year, deep into February. What do? They go on basically a 9-1 run. They won 9 out of 10 games to get to this game. They fall by 20, and it's just like in this case, like they just ran out of time. They ran out of gas at the end, but at the same time, man, they showed a lot of heart.
They did. I mean, they really did, and this is a tough region. I mean, and sometimes it's not always chalk. It's guys that are playing well at the end at the right time, and CJ is doing that. Watterson had a nice run, and we've seen some good games here on Chatterbox. I'm looking across right now, and I don't know if we get a camera on him, but he's so big. As Coach Staley, I guarantee Coach Staley's got a little tear in his eye looking down as he has so much pride in his basketball program, and he coached them to many, many regional and district games. And these guys are playing well at the right time, and they're playing well at the right end of the court, which is defense. And that's how you're going to get to Dayton this year, and that's exactly what we've seen tonight.
Coach, want to go back to the game before this one. Thursday night, CJ was down to Tippecanoe deep, not just like early in the game, but deep into that second quarter by 20. They cut it to 17, going towards the final 30 seconds, and then you saw the three-pointer by Jonathan Powell right at the buzzer to cut it down to 14, and since then, they've been unstoppable.
Yeah, and they held them. They outscored Tip 33 to 13. Think about what I just said. 13 points is all Tip had in the second half. And that is not easy because those guys were averaging close to 70 going into that game, looking at their scores, their offensive scores. And they held them to 13, and they come out here today and hold Watterson to 46.
Luke Chandler got a string. In fact, you had called him out specifically at the beginning of the game, and he had a couple of big threes in this one.
Yeah, and I liked the way he played the other day on the offense and he's a pretty good defender as well. But what a magical ride these guys have had. And you sit there and you look at it, and I wanted to say this earlier, and I'm going to say it now. It's a team effort when you do this. It's a team effort because everybody on the bench who may not be getting in the game, those are the guys grinding every day in practice and fighting with Nassif and some of these guys, just making them better. And Solomon and Powell and Chandler and Dickey, they're getting guarded every day by somebody. And just knowing Coach Szabo, he's screaming at those guys to make those guys better and guard them hard. And that's why they were able to handle pressure and kind of put it away at the very end as they're almost done here. I think they got maybe one more guy. He's the guy finishing it off here, maybe. And
yeah, that's a reserve player down there, Hunter Wiggins for Chaminade-Julienne.
I hope we keep it long enough. I don't know if we can because it's probably going to spread a little long. But to see Coach Szabo as a graduate and a guy, like you said, he bleeds green and blue. It would be nice to see him climb that ladder, but he's over there getting hit pretty good.
Keon Owens right now, and boy, he was such a big stud.
He's why they're here.
Yes.
He is why they're here. I mean, look at him. Not many stats, but everybody in this gym and everybody around the state was wondering how in the world did they hold Tip to 13 in the second half. That young man right there, number 23, who maybe he might wake up in the morning and jump in the stance.
Evan Dickey has been such a big part of this ball club as well right now, getting a chance to cut down his own string.
Yeah, he's had a little injury. I'm sorry, not injury, but just started the season slow. Statistically, he's not scoring 20 a game, but he is a steady player, especially on a defensive end for Chaminade-Julienne. And now we have...
And the wonderkind, the freshman, Jonathan Powell, who led the team in scoring this year at 13 a ball game. And while he was a secondary figure in the last 2 games here in this region, they don't get to this game without him.
Yeah, and he climbed so high up on that, he was looking down in that rim. He's going to probably get used to going up there a few times, as he is one of the best freshmen, and he can carry his team now. And they're telling Coach, get your butt up the ladder. Get your butt again. He won't go. And here comes Joe Staley Jr.
Oh, that's beautiful.
This is special to the Chaminade-Julienne fans. They know this guy's done this. He climbed that dang thing so quick. This is old hat to him. He's done that a few times in his playing career and now doing it in his coaching career. And here comes Coach Kidd. This guy's been around the program longer than anybody. He was an assistant, I think, when Coach Szabo. Watch him climb up there, and he'll do it with some nice flair, as he's done this a few times. But the emotion's going to hit the ceiling here in about 15 seconds when Coach Szabo, as I almost have a tear in my eye thinking about it, because I know how much it means to this guy. And they're all looking at him, and he's going to be tough and be strong. No, but, hey, get your butt up the ladder. Hey, we wouldn't be here if it wouldn't be for you, man. Now, come on. Here he is. I'm just going to shut up now. Get your butt up there, he says. Owen says, look, I'm going to guard you to the bus if you don't get up there, because I can stop you from going by me right now. And then he's getting instruction from somebody. Not sure who. They might have missed somebody. I don't know. We'll see.
Anyways, finally.
Oh, they're going back to the locker room to grab somebody here coming out. Who's hiding? Here we go. Here we go. This is great. This is great. Not sure who it is, but it's a team effort, man. They want to make sure everybody gets a piece of this net, and not one person is more important than the other. But there is somebody that's probably the most important person on that team, and he's climbing the ladder right now, hopefully. And here we go.
And this is why we go through a season, partner.
Right here. Look at this. Wait till he holds this thing up. There it is. Magical moment for the grad of Chaminade-Julienne.
Charlie Szabo wrapping this one up as far as the cutting of the net. A beautiful tradition. Our first time that we've got to see it at Chatterbox Sports. And, brother, so happy to be able to present it with you.
Yep, thank you so much again. Want to thank everybody. Not going to wear that out again, but really nice doing the games with you, Geoff. Looking forward to tonight to watch the game. We got Centerville, Moeller, Coach's Show, 7 o'clock. We're going to keep bringing it to you as long as they let us.
And we're ready to call it a night, and we will. Bishop Watterson falls to 12-16 to end their season. Chaminade-Julienne goes to state, 15-5. Thanks to our staff, Reed Mouse, Ian Calamire, Lerone Simmons, Patrick Geshin, our executive producer, Trace Fowler. And again, join us at 7 o'clock. It's the D1 final down in Cincinnati. For Sean Van Winkle, the kid, I'm Geoff Kim. Good night from Vandalia.